Good evening, Rotorua. Tonight on City News. Excitement is building among Ngāti Whakaui in anticipation of Matatihi, the Whakaui Whakanuia event. TV personality Mike King will present the Key to Life Charitable Trust Suicide Prevention campaign, and tickets are selling fast for the Silver Ferns Netball International being played here in October. Excitement is building among Ngāti Whakaui as the two-day celebration of the Hapu draws near. Matatihi Whakaui Whakanuia will showcase 3 events in September at Ohini Mutu. Events include a Future Makers Day aimed at rangatahi at university and senior high school students, an alumni dinner and a kapahaka day. Event coordinator Monty Morrison said the events were targeted to all age groups, with the kapahaka an opportunity for young people to reconnect to their marae.
Matatihi then is about us celebrating as a hapu and as a iwi, organised by Ngāti Whakaui for Ngāti Whakaui. So it's made up of 3 things: Ngāti Whakaui Future Makers Day, where our rangatahi senior students in secondary schools will be, Ngāti Whakaui students will be invited here to Papaiuru, and here Ngāti Whakaui future makers who are doing well in business, right across the primary industries, innovators, those involved in the commercial and banking sector. So we have them all. Those, of course, who are doing what we've called a sector called people and culture. People like Scotty Morris and so, who are doing great things in te reo and broadcasting, hearing his story. And we have people from across the spectrum coming. Even the bird girls that will be here talking and presenting their story about what they're doing. So that'll be a magnificent day, and that's on the Friday the 5th. Friday night we have what we're calling a Ngāti Whakaui alumni dinner, and where our koeke and our kaumatu and queer will come together to celebrate. But really we've chosen 3 areas in which to celebrate specifically. One is to honour recipients of our Queen's Awards, Queen's Honours. And the second one is those of Ngāti Whakaui who have either earned or been honoured with doctorates. And the third sector is our national and international sports people. So that's the alumni dinner. And then we complete the third and final event as an all-day event, kapahaka event on the Saturday, September the 6th, here at Te Papaiuru in front of the meeting house. So lots to look forward to. We have, I think, 10 or 11 maraes participating here, Ngāti Whakaui maraes in Rotorua who are going to be participating. And so a bit different from normal kapahaka competitions. This is more a festival and a celebration where a group will be made up of very little ones to the very older ones like myself who are trying to get together to perform for their chosen marae. So we're looking forward to a great occasion spread across those 3 events.
Television personality Mike King will present the Key to Life Charitable Trust Suicide Prevention campaign in Rotorua and Rotorua next week. Mr King will be joined by coroner Dr Wallace Bain, as well as fundraiser Western Heights High School student Ariana Cudby. All up, the team will present 7 talks over 3 days. Mr King says the Kul Te Korero talks are aimed at high school students, whereas the presentations with the coroner are for the wider community. For more information, contact Te Runanga or Ngāti Pikiao Trust. Rotorua's unique dining precinct, Eat Street, is almost complete with the installation of retractable awnings underway. It's the final stage of the project, which has taken almost a year to complete. Eat Street businesses are praising the final effect, with the owner of the award-winning Indian Star restaurant happy with the results.
Yes, that's the more positive stuff that's finally going to happen. And we were waiting for these things from a long time, and a few months is gone, and suddenly the builders came on Monday and they start install that retractable roof. And we still have a few things, and they will sort out, I think, soon. And once they finish, they will be wonderful for business on 8th Street. Will be good for whole of Rotorua and good for tourists as well, because this is the heart of the tourist in New Zealand.
Brewcraft Beer Pub co-owner Paul Croucher says having the project finally come to fruition is exciting and comes at a great time.
Well, our business has been growing on a nice steady rate anyway, but certainly it's enhanced the offering. Eat Street was a concept. It's been a concept for quite some time, but it was almost a bit apologetic. It was early on. It was just the blocked off road, and people were dining on the road on the slope near the gutters. And so this year, late last year, the council really put a big shift to do it professionally, do it properly, and they've done a stunning job. So the area is geothermally heated. We've got the retractable awnings, which will be completed in the next day or so, and it's a real feature for Rotorua. It's sensational.
In sport tonight, tickets for Rotorua's October Netball International between New Zealand and England are proving hot items, with extra seating having to be made available in one seating category that is already nearly sold out. The Silver Ferns take on England at the Energy Events Centre on the 28th of October. The match is part of the new World Netball Series, with the two teams competing for the Tiny Jameson Trophy. Rotorua District Councillor and Council Sports and Recreation Portfolio Lead, Charles Sturt, is urging locals to get behind the test match. He says it's a rare opportunity for Rotorua fans to see two of the world's top netball nations in action right here on our doorstep. Tickets for the Netball International can be purchased from the Rotorua Convention Centre. To your weather update now. Tonight will be fine with northwesterlies and an overnight low of 7. Tomorrow, Friday, light rain or drizzle at times, northerlies, a high of 15 and a low of 12. And the outlook for Saturday, occasional light rain or drizzle with northerlies, a high of 16 and a low of 12. The marine forecast for Lake Rotorua for Friday, northerly 10 knots with waves less than half a metre, fair visibility in drizzle developing from late morning. Still to come in tonight's program, we catch up with Māori Party co-leader and Waiariki MP Te Ororoa Flavel to talk about the success of Tūwiki o Te Reo Māori. And we meet singer-songwriter and hopeful TV series presenter Hoani Kake.
Well, on the back of Māori Language Week, I'm catching up with Waiariki MP Te Ororoa Flavel today. We're going to be talking about the importance of Māori Language Week and whether it should be compulsory in our schools. Also, we're going to talk about his campaigning, all the different billboards we see around town. And then we're going to have a bit of a chat about fluoritis, the hot debate that's happening here in Rotorua at the moment. So stay tuned, we've got a good story for you. Kia ora, Te Ororoa. Thanks for joining us today. Now, just recently we've been up to Waiariki to chat with some of the students out there following Māori Language Week, and we've asked them, should Māori language be compulsory in our schools here in New Zealand? I would say about 70-80% of them did say yes, especially our Indian students, which I thought was quite interesting. What were your views on that?
Well, the idea of compulsion has got a good element to it because it does wake the whole country up to the notion of the importance of Māori language, but there's some practical implications of that. And Māori language has been taught to a greater or lesser extent in schools throughout the country, I understand, for a long period of time. Has it made any difference to how people learn Māori, become more fluent in Māori? I think it's questionable. So the idea of compulsion in some senses is a battle that has yet to be won, because we're still trying to get used to the the national anthem in Māori language to be sung at the moment. And on top of that, we also need the resource to be able to make it such that if there are going to be developments of people taking up Māori language, then we've got to have teachers who are capable of being able to do that, and schooling environments that allow it to be taken up. So it's one thing to learn a language, to be an active speaker of it. It's another thing to have an appreciation of the language, and I suppose that's where there is an element of a diversion of thought around where we should go to next.
Well, obviously, Māori have to take ownership for this, not just the ones that are passionate about the language, but our whole culture, our whole whānau have to jump on board with this. How can we transfer that excitement or that need or want to learn the Māori language into Pākehā New Zealand?
Well, that's for Pākehā, I suppose, to take up. I mean, Māori language didn't happen last week. It's been here for ever and a day, and therefore the whole element of an acceptance of Māori language being important in this country has got to be taken up by the country as a whole. And that means that the number of people who have written about it. Duncan Gunn on television, we used to be with Television 3 as a drive time talkback host now, wrote a great blog during Māori Language Week. There's been the celebrations and the pickup of organisations like the District Council, the City Library, radio stations have been picking it up. The national television has been picking up by way of introductions and key words for the day. I mean, that's all a part of it, so it's going to take time, just as much as the acceptance of the national anthem in Māori has taken time for us to come to grips with some 15 years on. It's going to take some time, and so we need to have that, I believe that, yeah, this language is worth saving, and there are two parts to that. Of course, it's inherent on me as a Māori to be able to make sure that it does happen for my family, my kids, and also to bring others with us. But, I mean, you can tell by the fact that there are not too many Pākehā parents who take their kids to the kohanga reo, because they see that as a Māori thing as opposed to good for the country, and yet those who do actually say it's good for my family, it's good for my children, it's good for the country. So it's going to take some time for the country to come to grips with that, I think.
Do you think learning about Māori culture and heritage and language promotes tolerance as well?
So I think that it does lend itself to far more racial tolerance and understanding if the rest of the country came on board with respect to learning about Māori culture and Māori language. There's no doubt about that in my mind. And we've seen that in terms of the 15 or so years since the Māori language version of the national anthem was sung by itself. And over that time, it's sort of an element of acceptance now to that happening. So, it's something that's good for the country, I believe.
Well, during the week last week, during Māori Language Week on TV1 and TV3, they had a lot of news items starting off in Māori. I liked it and I enjoyed watching it. Do you think it might be just an act of tokenism really for mainstream media to do that?
Well, I think it might be, because they only did it for a week. One would think that if it's easy enough to do it for a week, you could actually roll that over to have it as an ongoing process throughout the year. And you find too that outside of Māori language, everybody falls back into old habits. So generally, people introducing place names, etc., or even just saying hello, simple things, the correct pronunciation of words. Māori Language Week, everybody's pretty much on the money. Why? Because there's a focus given to it. Whereas as soon as you fall out of that and come into Pākehā Language Week or English Language Weeks, all 51 of them, then everybody falls back into their old habits. So it's sort of like an ongoing process. So I think we've got still some work to do, but we're sort of heading in the right direction.
Now let's just jump ships a little bit. Obviously the elections aren't too far away. How is your campaigning going?
Oh, not too bad. I'm still tied up in Parliament at present as we speak. One more week to go, and then that'll be it. And then we're onto the election road, which is going to be sort of, well, it is hard work anyway. We've been planning and having things done for at least 2 months now, and it's hard work. Elections are hard work. They take up your energy, they sap your energy, they sap your time. But that's what they're all about. So you just got to give it your best.
Now I drive around town here and I see a lot of campaigning signs and billboards from other parties. Do you think it's fair that other parties seem to have, say, 90% of their signs up, where smaller parties, they really struggle to get anywhere near that sort of number?
Well, I mean, there's two parts to that. One is that there's a long period between now and the election, so it could be a matter of strategy. Some might say that. There's another matter of an element of resource that you've got available to yourself, but every candidate is restricted by way of the amount of money that they can spend. So therefore, it's how, I suppose, you utilise that. The hard part for the Māori electorates is that we, in Rotorua, for example, all you have to do is put up billboards in Rotorua. In our case, we've got to put up billboards for the whole of the Bay of Plenty. And so there's the difference. It's a huge area, and you've got the same amount of money, and you're probably, like everybody else, is trying to get money together to be able to pay for that. Then on top of that, you've got the added problems of transport, of getting them out, getting them up, pulling them down, and looking after them in areas that are not close to you. And therefore it means that you rely on other people to look after them, and so on. So it's a huge job, and I don't think people appreciate the fact that the Māori electorate are quite significantly different to the general seats, because of just the practicalities of what an election takes. If I was the candidate in Rotorua, I just got Rotorua City to worry about. I'm the candidate for Wairakei, I've got the whole of the Bay of Plenty to worry about.
It's a big area, isn't it?
And then nationally, of course, as well, so it's a huge area.
Now, one of the campaign issues or election issues is things like the minimum wage and being lifted to a living wage. Where's the Māori Party on this, and are you in negotiations with the Nats regarding this?
No, we haven't, but our position is that we would like for everybody, this whole country, to move towards a living wage above the $18 mark, and that because that, as the suggestion is that is what people can live on, as opposed to just having a minimum amount which somebody decides is the appropriate level for that. We'd say that at this point in time we're asking the government to look towards a higher minimum wage, but the ultimate would be that living wage is where it needs to be at, because that is, according to the information and the statistics and the research we've done, is where it actually needs to be.
Now, just recently they had Fluai Free New Zealand had a public meeting here in Rotorua. You were the only MP that was there. Does that surprise you?
No, not really too much. I mean, it was a public meeting and people could come to it. I got an invitation, like others I suppose, but there's a lot going on. You know, I can't speak for anybody else, but I chose to come back to that hui from other things that I had on. I found it informative. It would have been good to hear the other side of the coin, because that's the debate around, you know, the fluoride. I appreciated the fact that somebody had gone to yourself in fact, had gone to the efforts of pulling together people who are in this particular field, who've got some expertise around it. But being a politician, you kind of like to get both sides of the fence and see how that matches up. So I'm waiting for another hui that somebody might call that would be able to give the opposite side of the fence about the benefits, because even in our own household there's that debate raging at the moment about whether it is or is not the best thing to do. And of course there's the hard part, making a decision about it. I mean, I suppose if it was easy, somebody would have made a decision some years ago, but clearly it hasn't been like that. Some cities have made a decision in their best interest, but even then it's still a topic of debate. So I think we just got to give it some time, get the research together to be able to make an informed decision.
I think it's probably the best thing you could say, is make an informed decision. Now, this is probably going to be the last time I get to interview you, so good luck for your campaigning.
Thank you very much.
All the best for the elections.
Thank you very much. Kia ora.
Kia ora koutou, welcome back to City News. Well, it's my pleasure to be with Hazardous now, Juan Kake. Now, this guy is an artist. You would have seen him before. He's done so many things in so many places. He's back in Vegas and he's got some awesome stuff happening. Kia ora, bro.
Hey, sis.
So how's it?
Really good.
Yeah, you've been doing some mean mahi at the moment.
Yeah, trying to be proactive and busy. Since May the 1st, New Zealand Music Month of this year, recorded 10 songs in English. And the week later, had them translated into the Māori. The week after that, recorded 10 songs in Māori. Okay. And as someone that hasn't got a very good grasp on the Māori languages, great
learning.
fun, and I'm looking forward to more te reo.
Yeah, now where have people seen you before?
Well, for the last 14 years, it's a very long time, I've been the backup singer for super hip-hopper Shefu, as well as lead singer in a 13-piece Latina band called the Batucara Sound Machine. For six years we travelled throughout the world: Spain, Portugal, Belgium, Germany, Holland, London, Wales, Scotland, Singapore, South Korea, all throughout Aotearoa.
Wow.
Yeah, and also Sons of Zion, I suppose that's the latest clip that we have out.
You were a bit chunkier back in the day though, weren't you?
Well, yeah, I've been trying to lose some weight recently.
Looking good, bro. Looking
healthy
good.
body, healthy mind. Yeah, been rolling across the road at low-key MMA and attending the gym for the first time.
Yeah.
Over the last month. Prior to that, the only gym I'd been to was the Jim Beam.
Jim Beam.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. So tell me a little bit about your music, because you were saying that you've been doing some in Te Reo Pākehā, some in Te Reo Māori. Māori Language Week this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that those processes of doing that Māori translation and then singing them must have helped with your own deal.
Wow. Yeah. I was sort of brought up away from the marae, from my cousins and from the language, which is unfortunate.
But you're going hard now.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's taken me a few years to take on my Māoridom, I suppose, but now that I've realised I'm a king of this kingdom that is Aotearoa, for myself and for my children, I want to be able to get into it.
Embracing it.
Yeah.
And one of the other things that you're getting into is production with television. Tell me about that.
Yes. Wow. Over the next few months, we're going to be filming a 10-episode reality TV doco following myself throughout the whole recording process of this album, as well as trying to get fit for the first time ever, attending a few gyms around Rotorua. Going to be doing some bodybuilding, CrossFit, boxing. I'm not too sure. It's all new to me, but I'm very
Smashing
excited.
your body, bro. That's smashing your body, getting in there.
Definitely. It's all brand new, but I've enjoyed it over the last month, and I'm looking forward to see the results in 3 months.
And see, that's going to be really inspirational for people that want to get into music and want to actually follow in your footsteps to see how it does, how it's done, because it's not an easy process, is it? You don't just rock up somewhere and all of a sudden you have a hit, get an album out. It takes some work, doesn't it, bro?
Yeah, well, as I said, I've been in the industry for about 15 years now. I started 20 years ago, actually, busking on the streets of Whakatane with some friends, singing a cappella. A cappella's come back again, which is cool. But I think we made $180 on a Friday night as 15-year-olds. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do this for the rest of my life. And yeah, here I am,
And
still banging.
Here you are. So there's actually a lot of buskers out on the streets in Vegas,
I know,
man.
I have seen them.
You should do a reality show for them,
I know.
man. Street talent.
Well, it's funny you say that, because we're going to be taking our cameras downtown, because
Nice.
these guys remind me of where I start, and they're really awesome. I want to go and help them out, or give back and get them involved.
That's what it's good and beautiful to see when you are experienced and you've spent the time in the industry. Some of these young fellas coming up, they're beautiful. They've got the most amazing skills going on.
Yeah.
So lovely to be able to do that. Tell us some of the other things that you're into at the moment, bro. So where are we, first of all?
Well, where are we? Yeah, sorry about that. We're at the studio where we're recording the album at the moment, T1 Productions, which is across the road from Loki MMA, where I'm training at the moment, which is down the road from where I work on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, hosting karaoke and DJing at the Ruck and Mall. So come on down for a rage.
Ooh, rock and roll, cheers.
Yeah. As I said, I've just moved back to Vegas in the last 3 months, and I
wasn't
aware how many cool people there were that lived in Rotorua, and I've had fun meeting up with them. Yeah, a whole brand new crew of friends.
It's Māori wood down here, bro.
I know.
It's Māori wood, eh?
I seen Cliff Curtis having a kai the other day. Like, hey, Cliff!
Yeah, Tim
man.
Morrison mowing his lawns. Sweet as.
Yeah.
Oh, well, kia ora koe. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. Anything you want to say to the peeps out there?
Ooh, yep. The album will be out. Sorry, not the album, but the Māori EP will be available Labour Weekend coming up 2014. I'm going to be releasing it at the Ngāti Awa Festival in Whakatane. So if you're free to come and have a jack, come on down. Let's us have a rage. Hazardous, Dangerous Goods, Fusion Records, Hazelnut Productions. Oh, where?
That was singer-songwriter Hoani Kake talking with Kitty Danielle. If you have any news or an event that TV Rotorua can support, you can contact the station on 07 3488 984 or email news@tvrotorua.co.nz. Thanks for joining us tonight. From all the team at City News, for Maria.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.